Hey guys, it's your girl Sue. Today I want to share with you guys my top 7 tips and tricks and basically just advice for you guys if you are just barely getting into LV, or you probably are into it for a while but you're just wondering if you can get a little more extra little advice for it if you didn't know already. Before I jump into the video, I do want to say that I am not a pro at this. I am just an amateur. I've never worked for Louis Vuitton. I don't work for them, affiliated with them at all. I just love the brand and I just want to kind of share with you guys stuff that might be helpful for you. This is just my personal experience that I've had throughout the years, just from social media, online researching, and from owning these bags for, for a while, quite a while now. These things that I'm going to say, they are really just basic things that I hope will help somebody when they buy the bag and they're just like, why is it doing this, or why is it like staining? That's just what I'm trying to kind of, I guess, achieve for this video for you guys. First, basic knowledge I want to share with you guys when it comes to Louis Vuitton bags is vachetta. If you guys didn't know, vachetta is basically untreated leather, and that basically means that Louis Vuitton didn't do anything to it at all. When you have the vachetta leather on any of your Louis Vuitton bags or leather goods or whatever it is that you have that has vachetta on there, do know that if you touch it with lotion, sanitizer, water, oil, anything that's liquid, it's going to stain and it's going to do its mark on the vachetta. I have my Louis Vuitton bandolier Speedy 25 here with me. I love her. She's in amazing condition. I've taken really good care of her. If you guys didn't know, this brown material that you see around here, all of this to right here, to the little piping right here, the handles inside, it's got these little tabs right here, and then also on the pocket inside, all of this brown right here, this is all vachetta, which means it's obviously all untreated leather. So when you decide that you want to get a Speedy bandolier or just a regular Speedy with the handles like this, if it's not in the inbeam print, if it's in the monogram print, and if it's in the Azor print, it's pretty much going to come in vachetta all around like this. Obviously, if you hold it like this throughout time, this handle's going to get dirty, it's going to darken up. If you catch yourself in rain and rain gets on it, it's gonna have little watermarks all over it. Somebody tosses water at you and you say, go, you're like blocking yourself from that person throwing water at you, and you have to have your bag in your face, which I'm sure you wouldn't because you want to take care of it. That watermark is going to literally land on there, and if you don't wipe it automatically off and leave it for I don't know how long, a few seconds, it's gonna seep into the leather and stain. There's absolutely no way you can get it out. The only way to kind of, I guess, not see this thing is to kind of make it blend. So you got to make everything else kind of darken up like the rest, maybe just wet the whole thing. But then I mean, I wouldn't want to do that too. So you just left with a weird splotchy watermark on it that's not really attractive in my opinion. I'm looking around and actually I've taken really good care of it. There's no watermarks on it at all. That is my first advice, tip, or word of knowledge for you guys if you're getting into Louis Vuitton, is that when you buy a bag from Louis Vuitton that has vachetta, all this brown around it, be very, very wary with where you're going, what the weather is like. You're gonna go to like the park where they're going to be doing water balloon fight. I wouldn't take this to the beach. I'm just saying. So just kind of keep that in the back of your mind. Forgot to mention, but the vachetta leather darkens over time. If you get a bag like this, throughout the years, all of this vachetta is going to get dark. When I first bought this bag, this leather was really, really light, really pale. I've had this for a few years now and it's darkened up. This is almost like a really nice, perfect color, I would say. It's not too dark where it looks really old, but it's not brand new looking too. My second basic way to take care of your LV bag is to basically keep it away from extremely hot heat. For example, this is canvas, right? So this is pretty much just plastic with a print, with a coat over it. I've owned the 30 for the longest time, and I remember I would leave it in my car sometimes in extreme heat. I didn't want to take it inside to my workplace. I would leave it there for like 8 hours a day sometimes, and I noticed that the canvas was getting really, really soft, a little too soft in my opinion. It was still fine, but I noticed that. Just be wary of that. Don't leave it inside your car if you know that you're gonna leave it there for like a few hours or so. Not only that, but I know the on print version with the little stamp LV design all around them, or the other design bags that you had, not just the Speedies. You want to be careful if you put it in extreme hot heat or you store it and leave it there for hours. The heat's gonna make the on-print LV design kind of go away, if you know what I mean. One more thing I do want to mention that about extreme heat. Hot heat can obviously cause cracks in your bags. I've seen a lot of bags where they have cracks right here where the zipper is at, you see the little cracks that goes around here. If you look at the pre-loved market, I want to say that's pretty much almost like from extreme hot heat. This is plastic. You don't want to be bending this material like back and forth, because what happens to plastic when you bend it back and forth, it's going to crack or break. So my third basic way to care for your LV bag is to store it in a nice cool place away from the heat. Again, do not store it in the box that it comes in, or just in any box in general, because the bag needs air to breathe. It's leather, so it needs air to breathe, because if you leave it in like a box, it's gonna suck up all the moisture, it's gonna dry it up. You never know, it can just cause mold in your bag from wherever you live at. If you live in a really humid place and you keep it in a nice little compact item like a box, it might just mold up in there, and the last thing you want is to find mold in your bags. The fourth basic tip that I want to give to you guys is to learn the 3 different prints when it comes to canvases. I'm not talking about the other prints. For this, it's just gonna be the canvas print like this. You guys know that this is the azure print, which is the light checker print, and you've got the beam print, which is the dark checker print, and then you've got the monogram print, which is just the LV logo all around the bag in the brown. I want to specifically talk about the azure print, which is this color print. When I first started getting into Louis Vuitton, I told myself I would never buy an azure print, because I was like, it's a light color, it's gonna have color transfer, it's gonna be dirty over time, you're gonna see all the just dirtiness of it. Then after a few years, when I got into it, I was like, you know what, I need to own at least one azure print. See, I ended up getting the azure print in this huge, size 25, but this is all canvas, right? And I've done a decent job about it. This print can get dirty quite easily. On top of that, my main concern is color transfer. So when you get yourself a Louis Vuitton item, whether it's a small leather good, shoes, clothes, I don't know if it comes in the same material for clothes, bags like this that's in azure, it's so prone to color transfer, and you have to be really aware of that. Now, if you didn't know at all going to Louis Vuitton and you just walked in one day and you're like, I love that print, I don't want it, I'm gonna get it. So you get it and you end up wearing jeans that day, or like a jean jacket that day, and you get home, you're like, WTF, right? What is this? Why is it blue on one side? And you're like, I didn't know that this does this, and this bag costs so much money. It's up in the thousands, right? For such an expensive item, why is it doing that? It shouldn't do that. It should be perfect. It should withstand everything that I put it into, right? We have that mindset. We think that's expensive item, it should be perfect. It should be able to withstand me tossing it around here and there a few times without being scuffed up. But you have to kind of go into it knowing that it's a luxury items, and luxury items are meant to be taken care of. You don't just buy something expensive and don't take care of it. You buy it and you take care of it so that it can last for a long period of time. Color transfer is so prone. I see that all over social media. People complain about the color transfer. How do I get it up? And then they use stuff to try to get it up, and then they end up messing the canvas, and just ends up getting worse. If I already got color transfer on it, I would just try wiping it with like a wet wipe, just regular water, and if it doesn't come off, so be it. It is what it is, you know. It comes with the design, you know what I mean. So the fifth thing that I want to mention is corners. When you buy yourself, it could just be any bags in general, but then I always see people complain on social media about corners, especially on like Louis Vuitton bags. Chanel bags too, like Coco handles, the little sharp edges. You gotta watch out for those. But I notice a lot of people that get into Louis Vuitton, they don't pay attention to the corners. Even this too, like over time, these little corners, these corners right here, I know that over time you're gonna put this on in your car. The checker colors, they're just gonna wear off, because that's just in its nature. It's not something that's not indestructible. Ooh, let me just go bring it out real quick. Okay, so I have here with me my Louis Vuitton Palm Springs Mini, and what I mean by sharp corners, this right here, right? I don't know if you guys can tell, but you see this right here? Super sharp, right? Super pointy. If you kind of like toss this around, throw it around, and if it's swiped against the wall, this is going to scuff, and it's going to obviously remove that print, and it's coated, so it's going to remove the coat first, which is a little clear thing. You're going to see the little clear thing start to come off, and then you're going to see the brown underneath it. It's not too bad, but that is something that you have to keep in mind when you buy purses or bags that have sharp edges like this. I'm just looking at my bag right now, and actually I've taken really good care of this Palm Springs Mini. This is the newer version with the zipper comes out. The edges are actually not too bad yet. My sixth advice I want to share with you guys is all about glazing. Glazing is pretty much what Louis Vuitton uses to cover the edges of their bags and their small leather goods. This is the Louis Vuitton Nano Speedy, and you can see here that the glazing is the red portion of the bag. It is mainly on the handles. I noticed that the glazing on certain bags are thicker than on other pieces. For this particular piece, the glazing is slightly thick. It is the red part right here, all around here. The glazing on the strap, I'm not sure if it's the same material, but it's slightly different from what's on the handle. The handle, it looks shiny and thicker, versus on the strap, it's thin, like it's painted on, and something that's less thick. The reason why I want to bring this up is because a lot of their bags nowadays, the flat bags, they're super popular. On these flat bags, they have glazing on the sides of it. This one, it doesn't have glazing on it, but this is the Belize. Really popular, really cute, really dainty and small. On this one, it doesn't have glazing. It's actually just sewn. You can see it's sewn right there, and it goes around. But for example, the Pachette has glazing right around there, and when you open that bag up, my advice is that you don't want to open the bag and the flap all the way over, because when you do that, what happens is it's going to weaken the glazing, and then over time that glazing is going to peel and come off. For the flat bags particularly, you don't want to do that anyways, because if you keep bending this completely back, you're going to weaken the corners right here, and they're going to rip or crack on top of the glazing coming off. Definitely be wary of that. That's just an example of what I mean about glazing and cracks happening. But I have a better example. This is my Insolite wallet I bought years ago, about 15 years ago, when I first got into Louis Vuitton. Super gorgeous thick canvas piece. This one has glazing. You can see the glazing all around here. It pretty much wraps around this whole wallet. When I zoom in, can you see the glazing has fallen off here? And then here, same thing like on this side. That's the glazing. It's come off. And this is possibly my fault. When I first got to Louis Vuitton, I told you guys about 15 years ago, this was actually one of my first piece, and when I used this wallet, I didn't know. So what I would do is I would open it up, stuff in it, but sometimes when I'm in a rush, I would bend this completely back. I kid you not, I would bend it completely back because I didn't know, and I thought it was an expensive piece. It's supposed to last for a long time. It shouldn't rip that easily, but I didn't know anything about glazing. Over the few months that I used it, that glazing had to completely come off. And this is again a really old piece. An old piece or a newer current piece, it's still going to do this if you don't take care of it. You can't just bend a wallet completely back if it's not meant to do that. Definitely keep that in mind. Here's another example. I just wanted to show you guys the glazing because I know a lot of people who are new into Louis Vuitton don't know what glazing is. So this is the Neverfull pouch. It comes with the Neverfull if you buy it now, but this is just an example of glazing. This one is in perfect condition still. You can see that the glazing is really thick on this piece, and it wraps pretty much around completely to this side. This one, you don't really have to worry much about it bending or cracking because you're just going to hold it like this. It doesn't matter how much you stuff it. You're not bending this piece, and so the glazing should be intact. I mean, if it starts to fall off, definitely take it into Louis Vuitton and have them replace it or fix it for you. The seventh advice I want to share with you guys is to pay attention to the inside lining of your bags. A lot of these bags, the inside is lined. A lot of times they're not lined, but regardless, they're gonna get dirty over time, right? You're gonna throw stuff in it, and you think that you're not gonna dirty it, but trust me, it's gonna get dirty. Accidents happen. Sometimes you might spill something, coffee or your drink or water. You know, your pen decides to unpin itself one day and just ink everywhere. My advice to you is to buy a purse organizer for your bags. For this one right here, I do have a purse organizer for it. I have this beige organizer that I actually cut because it goes all the way up here. For me, when it comes to the Speedies, I like it to have this little slouchy lid to it. I don't want it to look too bulky because I have a really petite frame. When it's bulky, it just looks too big on me, even for the 25. Here is my organizer. Yeah, I think I got this off of Amazon. It's got these extra little compartments. Just get a really good sharp scissor and cut it in half. I don't know if you guys can tell, but there's a few little like speck right there. very small. But if I didn't have this, the specs would be at the bottom of this bag. And this bag looks so perfect inside. It looks literally brand new inside because this thing is literally protecting the inside lining of this bag. You know, my recommendation is to get a purse lining, a purse insert, a purse organizer. Get it for your bag and take care of your bag. One of the reasons why I say that is only because if you know the luxury world, you know that when it comes to luxury items such as Louis Vuitton, Chanel, etc., a lot of times sell it and get a lot of your money back, if not the same amount, more, or just a little bit less. I mean, they've been having so many price increases. It's insane. So imagine like just having a purse and wearing it for years, decide, hey, you know what, I'm kind of over this bag, you know, I think I'm gonna sell it and buy something else. Well, guess what, I'm gonna get the same amount of money that I put into it 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 5 years ago. You know what I mean? I can get that money back and then buy something else that I want to enjoy at that current moment. So something to definitely keep in mind. Those are all of my 7 tips and tricks and advice that I want to share with you guys. Those are the basic things that I want to teach you guys so you guys can learn a little bit about Louis Vuitton. If you are just getting into it or you've been in it for a while, you just kind of want to, you know, reaffirm your thoughts or so. If you guys have any questions and comments, comment down below. If you guys found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, and I will see you guys on my next video. Bye guys.